Welcome, fear seekers, to Ghostlight. Tonight, we delve into the dark corners where everyday life twists into chilling nightmares. Turn down the lights, get comfortable, and prepare to hear three tales that will make you question what you thought you knew about the world and what might be lurking just beyond your perception. The Child in the Old Mill. My grandmother always warned me about the old mill down by Miller's Creek, not because it was crumbling, but because of the whisper she heard there as a girl. A child, she'd say, lost to the creek, forever calling. I, being a sensible adult, dismissed it as folklore. That is, until I inherited her isolated cabin and the mill became my nightly neighbor. It was the soft crying that started it, always faint, always seeming to drift from the mill, carried on the wind. I told myself it was the old wood groaning, or perhaps an animal, but it grew more distinct, a child's mournful sob. One night, it wasn't just crying, it was a name, whispered, barely audible, yet clear as a bell. Mama. My heart hammered. No one else lived within miles. Armed with a flashlight and a foolish bravery, I walked to the mill. The air grew heavy, cold despite the summer night. Inside, dust motes danced in my flashlight beam, highlighting ancient machinery. The crying was louder now, coming from the shadowed corner where the old millstone lay. As I stepped closer, the sobbing suddenly morphed into a chilling giggle. It wasn't sad anymore, it was playful. My light flickered, and in that brief moment of darkness, I felt a small, cold hand slip into mine. I gasped, dropping the flashlight. The mill plunged into absolute blackness, but I could feel the hand tightening its grip, tiny fingers lacing through mine. And then I heard the whisper, right next to my ear, accompanied by a soft, cold breath. Found you. I don't remember running. I remember the sensation of my feet hitting the ground, the cold hand still clutched in mine, only releasing its grip as I burst through the cabin door, slamming it shut. My hand was shaking, clammy, and a tiny, almost invisible child's handprint was pressed into my palm, fading quickly in the warmth of the cabin. The crying never came from the mill again. But sometimes, when I'm alone, I feel a cold touch and hear a tiny, playful giggle from the darkest corners of my own home. The echo on the trail. My hiking buddy, Alex, and I were deep into the Blackwood Forest, notorious for its confusing trails and the occasional vanishing hiker. Locals called it the Whispering Woods, claiming the trees sometimes spoke. We laughed it off, just old wives' tales. This particular trail was less traveled, leading to a secluded waterfall. We were making good time until the sun began to dip, painting the sky in fiery oranges. That's when we heard it, an echo. Not of our voices, but of someone else's. It started as a faint shout, distant, like someone calling for help. "Hello?" Alex yelled. A moment later, the echo came back, closer this time, clearer. "Hello?" But it wasn't Alex's voice. It was a child's. My blood ran cold. There were no children on this trail. "Hello?" I called out, my voice wavering. The echo returned immediately, right behind us. A small, plaintive, "Hello?" We spun around. Nothing. Just the deepening shadows of the trees. We started walking faster, picking up our pace. The echo kept up, always just behind us, always closer than before. It wasn't a child anymore. It was an adult's voice, raspy, strained, as if struggling to breathe. "Help! Me!" Panic set in. We broke into a run, crashing through undergrowth, the forest suddenly feeling suffocating. The voice, now a guttural gasp, was right at our heels. "Run! Faster!" It seemed to wheeze right over my shoulder. We ran until our lungs burned, until the forest finally gave way to the faint lights of the trailhead parking lot. We didn't stop until we were in the car, speeding away. We never went back to Blackwood Forest, but sometimes on a quiet night when the wind blows just right, I hear a faint, distorted echo, not from my own voice, but from something else calling out, "You left me." The faceless reflection. My new apartment had a full-length mirror leaning against the wall in the hallway when I moved in. It was old, with a dark, ornate frame, a little dusty but perfectly functional. I liked it, a touch of antique charm. For the first few weeks, it was just a mirror. I'd glance at my reflection as I passed, fix my hair, check my outfit. Nothing out of the ordinary. Then the glitches started. Brief, almost imperceptible flickers. Sometimes, my reflection would lag a split second behind my movements. Other times, my expression in the mirror wouldn't quite match my own. A flicker of sadness when I felt happy, or a smirk when I was serious. I chalked it up to sleep deprivation, or my old building's strange wiring. One morning, I was getting ready for work, standing directly in front of it. I smiled at my reflection. It smiled back. Then slowly, terrifyingly, its smile widened, stretching unnaturally far beyond what a human mouth could do. My own face remained frozen in a polite smile, but the reflection's grin grew, revealing too many teeth, eyes widening until they were black, gaping holes. My breath hitched. I stumbled back, staring at the monster wearing my face. Its grin slowly faded, eyes shrinking, until it was just my normal reflection again, looking back at me, perfectly still. I tried to tell myself it was a hallucination. I even tried to move the mirror, but it was incredibly heavy, seemingly bolted to the floor despite appearing to just lean against the wall. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the old building, every shadow seemed amplified. I lay awake until a cold dread filled my room. I felt compelled to look at the mirror. Slowly, I crept out of bed. The hallway was pitch black. I strained my eyes, trying to make out its form, and then I saw it. Not my reflection. A silhouette, human-shaped but completely black, standing perfectly still in the mirror's surface. And it had no face, just a smooth, featureless void where a face should be. It didn't move. It just stood there, looking out. I live elsewhere now. The mirror is still in that apartment waiting. Sometimes, when I pass reflective surfaces, a glass storefront, a dark window, I instinctively brace myself. Because I know, somewhere there's a faceless reflection, and it might just be looking for me. Still breathing? Good. Because these tales are just a glimpse into the chilling world Ghostlight explores. If you felt a shiver, if your skin crawled, then you're one of us. Hit that like button, leave a comment telling us which story kept you up tonight, and most importantly, subscribe for more encounters with the unexplained. Until next time, remember, what you don't see might just be watching you.